it's Mark from Funky Social Media. I'm your local social media consultant, and it's a beautiful sunny morning, and I wanted to really just share some really powerful but very, very simple tips on how to create content using simple audio. Now, if you had spoken to me a couple of days ago, you would have realized what a sad case I've been over the last few days, because on Friday I had a operation on my eye, which has left me feeling a little vulnerable and incapacitated. And what do I mean? Well, I haven't been able to get onto my computer, which, being a social media consultant, is probably the most infuriating and frustrating thing known to certainly me, but to people that are online, they will absolutely understand. You know, we've come to rely so much on technology these days that when it's suddenly, in a sense, taken away, that wow, you know, I've been feeling a little in the doldrums. I'm feeling like I can't crack on and be productive in my day. But you know, I'd like to think myself as a fairly resourceful person. So what I wanted to do was to just give you another way of creating content when the chips are down, or when you might be looking for a slightly different angle to position your content or to create content. So I'm kind of calling this series, you know, the 5 steps on how to create creative content with simple audio. So let's cast my mind back to Friday. Went into the hospital, had a rather well, I was, I had to have an anaesthetist apply the anesthetic because, a long story without being gory, but a surgeon had to go into the back of my eye and remove some scar tissue from the back of the eye, it's not a pleasant sounding thing, but hey, at the end of the day, it had to be done, and with a bit of luck, in the next couple of days, certainly a week's time, I should be able to see a little bit better out of my eye, which is the great thing. But that's not what you're here for. It's not to hear about me and my eye problems, but more so on what I've done really to just keep productive. So can't get on my computer, can't really maintain a lot of my clients' pages for the next few days. So I just thought, well, let's use this opportunity to create a bit of content and not to sit about feeling sorry for myself. Now, I'm sure you'll all relate that content creation can be a bit of a drag. It can also be, you can get all the writer's blocks. It can be very time consuming, etc., etc. I mean, I can list a number of reasons, but I'm sure you get where I'm going with this. And I just thought, well, sometimes it just helps to take a step back and think, well, what can I do, or what can I produce that's slightly different, but still has a flavor of high value. I can convey my benefits, and also, share some lovely educational stuff with you, my readers. So, hence, I thought, well, let's record an audio. Bit of education on audio. And so I pulled up a free resource which you can quite happily go and Google. It's called Audacity, and it's an absolute free tool, fantastic tool, because not only can you record, but if you add an add-on called Lame, Lame, you can also then download the audio in an MP3 file format. Now, excuse me for getting technical. If you don't know what a Lame is in an MP3 format, just Google it and it'll all become quite apparent. So the tool I'm using is Audacity. And I thought, well, it's all well just sitting here and recording an audio, but what do I do to be able to leverage and repurpose this initial content? And I thought, well, okay, I mean, there's obviously a number of uses that I could put one audio to. So I thought about it and I thought, okay, well, let me share what I think would be the best way for you to take an audio after you've recorded using software like Audacity, and how could you then repurpose that to gain more traction online, to share some of your great information and educational content, but also to get traffic by using the audio, and also obviously to get known more online, get in front of your readers and in front of your listeners, so to speak, and for you to then be able to use this to keep people informed that you are obviously credible and an expert in your industry. So the very first one stands pretty obvious. It's the actual audio file itself. So as we're sitting here talking, I'm recording this audio using Audacity, and I'll then download it as an MP3 file. So that MP3 file can simply now be saved, downloaded, and I can then email it out to my lead database, to my list, my email list, and say, I've created this great product. It's how to use audio, simple audio, to reposition yourself, get great content out to your listeners, etc. So that's in its simplistic form. You could then go one step further and produce the audio, use the audio file and reproduce it into a podcast for your blog or your website, or even further into an iPod format, which can be then uploaded to iTunes. So we all know about iTunes, fantastic platform. So you can now use your audio file to create a podcast, which you can embed onto your website or your blog, and also obviously upload to iTunes. The next one is slightly more obvious, which is step number 3, which you can take that audio and add the audio file into a PowerPoint presentation. So you can create a PowerPoint presentation around the audio. So like I'm doing now, my PowerPoint presentation could be, the five ways on how you can create creative content using simple audio. So I could create a number of PowerPoint presentation slides around that, and then I could take this audio and embed the audio into the PowerPoint presentation. So that's step number 3. Another way, or step number 4 would be I could then take my PowerPoint presentation. Now, if some of you out there have latest version of PowerPoint, I use PowerPoint 2010. You have the ability to actually download your PowerPoint presentation as a video. So that's fantastic. It's a great feature to have with PowerPoint. So I would then create the PowerPoint presentation, embed the audio, and then I would take that and I would simply save it and save it as a video. I could then take that video and go and embed that video or upload it to YouTube. I could go and embed that video onto my blog or my website. So you can see where I'm going with this is I'm using this to now create more content, use it to drive traffic to my websites or to my offer or to my other social pages. A various number of reasons you can use that. And then lastly, for those of you that are wanting to prefer to sell things in a more physical product format or send out in a more physical format, you can obviously take that audio and burn it onto a CD. So now it becomes a physical product, which is a great way if you're a consultant, is you could create an audio file, burn it onto CD and send that to potential prospects, which would give them a couple of steps and education on how you can make their business different or grow their business. And you now have a physical product, which is very powerful in itself, because I don't know about you, but I love to receive nice padded envelopes with some form of products and stuff inside. It always is, call it funny, but hey, I get excited when I get stuff through the post. So, that's step number 5. So let's quickly recap. It started off as just a very simple audio. So it can be an audio file downloaded. So we're recording it on Audacity. So you download, once you've recorded it on Audacity, you download it as an MP3 file, and that can be used on its own. You could take that audio file and produce a podcast or upload it to iTunes. Step number 3, you could take that audio, embed the audio into a PowerPoint presentation slide type presentation that you've created, and that it becomes another product or another form of content. You can take that PowerPoint presentation along with the embedded audio and save it and download it as a video, and then use it to distribute to YouTube and embed it on your website and also to other video sharing sites, which gets more attention to you as a business owner. And then lastly, step number 5, you can then take that audio and burn it onto a CD or a DVD, and that now becomes another physical product that you can send out to customers, existing customers or prospects, trying to get attention back to your product or service. I hope that's helped. It helps to just sometimes take a step back and not overcomplicate things, thinking that you need to spend an amazing amount of money to produce high quality videos. Yes, they all have their place. You don't need to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can all be done for free, exactly like I'm doing now. So those are my 5 steps on how to create creative content with simple audio. I'm Mark from Funky Social Media, and I hope to be speaking to you soon. I may well do another little series that expands a little bit more on how to do the things that I mentioned in these 5 steps. So if you'd like to see that, by all means, leave a comment below, and I will be back with you soon. Have a great week. May it be abundant and profitable, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye for now.